Welcome to the October update of the Willoughby New Haven line. Trying a new microphone setup, so hopefully this works. The first thing I wanted to show you is I mentioned in the last update about coffee stirrers that I got, and I had kind of thought for this area here there should be some kind of walkway or sidewalk or something that goes from the passenger platform here to across to the downtown Hopewell. So I used the coffee stir sticks and cut them and used 90% alcohol and Indie ink wash to kind of weather them. Put some um, black ballast that I had. It's not ballast. I forget what it's called, but I used some of that on there. And I also did a crossing grade as well, which I think came out really good. I tried to do scale 10 feet long pieces of lumber, I think, but I really like the way this looks. It might be a little big, but I think overall it works pretty well. And the coffee stir sticks or coffee stirs have worked out really well for this. Subsequently, I have decided most likely I need to get a turnout or two. I need to purchase maybe some other track, but I'm thinking of getting rid of this track here and running it straight from the inside loop over here and throwing a switch in here so I can continue on the inside and go up and around, as it were, but also so that if there was a turnout here, it would come along. This building is going to need to get replaced, but it's going to come into this area. So this track, this section will be gone. And this way, it'll make switching into Sinescu a lot easier. I can hit it from both directions. I'll essentially get rid of the reversing loop, which I think is fine. But that's a plan that is underway. I'm kind of hesitant to start deconstructing this area until I get a turnout or two. But I'm kind of hoping, because I'm essentially going to deconstruct this entire area, and I might keep some of the hillside, but the track is going to go through basically right in this section here. So I'm thinking I might have room for another siding, hope maybe another industry. If I can squeak that out, that would be amazing. So I'm really kind of excited about this project. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I thought that at first it was going to work with a curved turnout, but I used some software to do a little track planning, and I think I can get away with a um, number 5 Pico switch, and then that way I don't have to worry about the switch machines or anything. There's a lot of 2x4s and stuff under this section. It's kind of a disaster under here. So I'm thinking with a Pico, it's got the spring-loaded thing. I can just manually do it. I don't have to worry about using a Caboose Industries manual throw or anything. It should work. The radius is going to be a little wider off the turnout, off the number 5, than this is. I believe this is 22, and the number 5s are like 26 or 28. So I kind of did some trial and error things with it until I actually get it in there. It might be kind of a weirdness in here, but I think it should work. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm not sure about this siding for this industry. It's going to get relocated, obviously, but I might be able to extend this as well, because this only holds 2 cars now, and I might be able to extend this back. I don't know. I kind of need to deconstruct this area, see what I've got, and then work with what I've got. But I'm a little hesitant to start that now just because I'm not ready to undertake this project yet, and I don't want to deconstruct anything until I've got some bits and pieces together. But yeah, so that's exciting. And I did a couple of other things with the coffee stirs, which I can show you real quick, and we'll go to the next section. So one other little thing I did with the coffee stirs is to cut them up into tiny, tiny pieces and make it look like scrap wood. I've got a bunch around the Caesar and West furniture industry, and I put a bunch behind here as well. So I think that kind of adds just a little touch and makes things a little bit more interesting. And I've been working on some lumber loads as well, cutting them to kind of even lengths and gluing them and that kind of stuff. So um, that's all I got done with the coffee stir so far, but there's some other little details and plans um, that I've got in the works. They're super cheap and you get a super ton of them, so you kind of can't not get some. And I think I got mine from Amazon and they were, I don't know, $5 or $6 for like 1,000 of them or something. So super cool, super good. The other thing that I did quickly is I added kind of a barbed wire fence just using skewers that I had and then string. And I tried to get it so that they didn't wrap around the poles because I kind of liked the look of that better. But I was not patient and wrapped them around so it was easier to hold the string up and not having to wait for glue to dry for each one. They kept popping off. So I don't think it looks bad. It's a nice little touch going up the hillside here. I've got a ton more details to add on this section, so that's just one extra little element that I worked on, and that's going to wrap it up for this section. Okay, so the last segment on this update, I'm going to just go over a few little things that I've done to the Sinescu cold storage facility. The mortar on this building was never quite right. I don't even think I really addressed it when I initially repainted it. So what I did is I did my traditional method for mortar using alcohol, and I have actually just like white pigment that you'd mix with oil paints, but it actually does pretty well just mixed with alcohol. And so I did a wash of that over all of the brick and then wiped some of it off, let it dry thoroughly, and then I used oil paint to lightly brush on top of that, which just hit the tops of the bricks. So you're left with the mortar underneath, and it looks a lot better than it did. I wish I had done a before and after. It probably still could use a little weathering, some weathering under the windows and such. But overall, the mortar is actually visible on this one. I'm eventually going to tackle some of these other buildings as well. You can see this. There's no mortar on there that you can see. It looks just harshly painted. This one's almost the reverse. It's almost darker inside than the bricks. So I might tackle that one, but and a few more in the city here, or downtown. Excuse me, Hopeville. Kind of fighting, getting over a cold. But I did the bricks finally for this building, and I'm pretty pleased with the way it came out. And then I added just a bunch of little details. I added this pulley system on the metal bars there that come over those two openings. I added the trash can in the back there, and just a random shovel, the ladder, which is a little out of scale, but it's okay in there. And what else did I do? Oh, I did some of this stuff on the ground, and I kind of blended in the ground to overgrowth and such underneath the platform, so it kind of blends in a little better. Initially, it was just I had some turf here, I think, and then just the plastic underneath. And I had a hard time getting in there and doing things. There's still some openings here where there's really nothing in there, but it looks a lot better. It's kind of a work in progress. I need to come up with some kind of way to kind of blend this into the turf. It's a work in progress, a little here, a little there, but the main thing is getting the mortar done on that building, and I repainted this as well, a lighter color. I think it was a darker black. Oh, and I think I added this unit up here. Again, I probably have talked about this in past. I'm not 100% sure on the HVAC stuff in the 50s. This was from a Walder's kit, but I felt like being cold storage, I needed something else up there. So I added that as well. And that's going to about do it for this update. This update's going to probably be, I haven't timed it out yet, but probably pretty short. Really excited. I update from the last segment. I ordered a Pico switch. We'll slowly walk here so nobody gets too dizzy. But I ordered a Pico switch. I'm kind of hesitant to take anything apart yet until I can kind of lay a physical turnout in here and just double check that nothing's going to kink too harshly. But once that comes in, I will start to hopefully it works, and then hopefully I'll start to dismantle this whole section here and kind of see what I've got to work with. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to tear this up probably. I'm kind of undecided what I'm going to do with this track. It kind of this track here. It kind of depends what how things look once the track goes through this section here and how much of this I take away. I may kind of leave it abandoned. I would love to add another building here, like another city building here. So it kind of the track goes, the train or the, the siding here goes kind of behind more buildings because I really love the way it goes behind this one here. So it would be kind of cool if it pops out from behind a building here and goes across the street behind another building or row of buildings. So I'm not sure what to do with this track yet, whether I'm going to just remove it completely or make it look abandoned. But yeah, this turnout's most likely going to go too. Again, I'm kind of toying with the idea of adding another siding in there somewhere, so I kind of need to get things, spaced out and see what I've got to work with. I did, like I said before, I did some on the computer, but yeah, so it's going to be again another work in progress, and sometimes you have to do a little before you can see what else you can do. So that's going to wrap it up. I've got some trains running after this, and happy October, and have a good Halloween, and we'll see you in the busy month of November. Take care.